Hannah, we both love a good rockumentary, don't we? But isn't it time we gave some recommendations for people who would rather listen to music than binge watch TV shows and films?
Funny you should say that, Ian, because British rapper Fletchy has just released his debut EP, The Colossal Apostle. It includes standout tracks Money Calling, This Is Crazy, and Ooh.
Ooh. And you don't have to just take our word for it. Fletchy has been shouted out by none other than LeBron James, as well as Dwayne Wade and Juicy J. A mix of humour, heartbreak and hard-hitting beats, The Colossal Apostle is available to stream now.
And to find out more about this up-and-coming artist who is building a fan base on both sides of the Atlantic, follow at Fletchy2Fat, that's Fletchy with a Y, 2, Fat on TikTok and Instagram. Hello and welcome to Binge Watch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the group editor of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwen, writer on TV's Last Late Week, TV Times, What's on TV and whatsawatch.com. And today we're looking at the new releases that will be available on Friday the 26th of September 2025, including Mae Martin and Toni Collette in Wayward, a Netflix thriller about a Vermont school for troubled teens, and House of Guinness, the new Netflix period drama from Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight.
And we'll also be checking out Romesh Can't Knock the Hustle on Now TV and meeting the Savant, played by Jessica Chastain, on Apple TV+. But first, Ian, what is in the news, please?
Sean Bean will appear as the Sheriff of Nottingham in a new series about Robin Hood on MGM+. What else is in the news, Hannah?
And Rob and Rylan will yet again be heading off on their travels, this time to Greece on a new BBC travelogue. That's not the one we talked about last week, was it?
No, that was India. But yes, that's a good job, isn't it? I'd love to be doing all that.
We need a new career.
One day, travelogue podcast, that's the future. But I digress. Decent selection this week. We've got a period drama, a couple of modern dramas, and another travelogue. Would you believe it? So we're going to start on the Netflix with a new series called Wayward. And here's a clip.
In the hills and valleys, there is a place where your teenager can grow and thrive. My name is Evelyn Wade. I'm the lead youth counselor here at Tall Pines Academy. We use groundbreaking therapeutic techniques to solve the problem of adolescence.
So this is written by and stars Canadian comedian and actor Mae Martin, who I first became aware of when they were on Taskmaster. So yes, quite a talent. Has a previous series in which they played opposite Charlotte Ritchie, won a BAFTA. This, to some extent, is inspired by their childhood, when Mae dropped out of school and experimented with drink and drugs and got kicked out of the family home. It's all about a so-called therapy school called the Lone Pines Academy, which is headed by this woman called Evelyn, played by the brilliant Toni Collette, and she's pretty disturbing in this. So yeah, this is a place where you frustrated parents can send their troubled teens, and they literally come in a van, go into your kid's bedroom, grab them by force and just take them away. So yes, it's in the Vermont town of Lone Pines, and Mae Martin plays Alex, who is a cop from Detroit who has moved there with his pregnant wife, played by True Detective's Sarah Gadon. His wife's called Lauren, and she grew up there. Okay, and first day on the job with the local police force, she comes across this student from the academy running barefoot through the woods, having escaped, and just saying, "Don't send me back, don't send me back." Yeah. So meanwhile, in Toronto, this student called Abby, played by Sydney Topliff, She's hanging out with Layla, played by Alvia Allen Lind, who the parents think is a bad influence, okay? And after one escapade's too many, yes, she is taken away. Abby is taken from her bedroom in the night and packed off into a van, off to this, life-changing regime. So, yeah, I really liked episode 1 of this. I thought it was very interesting. Yeah, Martin, you might have seen her in the comedy Feel Good, which she also wrote, and she co-starred with Ghosts actor Charlotte Ritchie. So, yeah, a bit of a different role for Toni Collette, who is just endlessly versatile, isn't she? She's great in this. And just the idea of this really, tough love school where God knows what's going on behind closed doors, but it doesn't sound good, that's interesting. And also the fact that the cop's wife did go to the academy back in the day, so that adds a little bit extra to the mix. So, yeah, I thought it was very good. What did you think, Hannah?
It's the stuff of nightmares is what this is. It really, really is. Do you know what's absolutely fascinating? I've loved what I've seen so far, just simply because it's horrifying and captivating in equal measure, really. The idea that anyone could be forcibly taken in the middle of the night and taken to an academy to be sorted out is just kind of disturbing. I'm sure you'd agree anyway. But also the fact that there's no kind of measuring of this, one overdose too many, or it's bad influence on their sister in this instance. They must go, middle of the night, off they go when they're asleep and they can't put up a fight. And then, of course, as you quite rightly said, what goes on behind closed doors, what really happens in that scenario. And then, of course, when you see Ryan running through barefoot, begging not to be taken back, you can only wonder what might be going on and what's happening, and if there's any kind of level of brutality. It's sadly, it's something that probably it has happened in years gone by, hasn't it? And it's very much a cult type feel about this, and I think that's probably why it's as fascinating as it is, because it sort of is based on a reality of sorts. I really like what I've seen so far, and I'm going to keep watching.
Yes, and I think there was a documentary series about a school like this, and probably on Netflix. And for me, it brought back many happy memories of boarding school. Not really, listeners. We move across to Netflix for our next offering. It's an eagerly anticipated period drama called House of Guinness. And here's a clip.
I, Sir Benjamin Lee Guinness, hereby give all my brewery concerns to my 2 sons, Edward and Arthur, jointly and equally.
We expected something more.
I feel it wise not to burden Benjamin and Anne with the temptations that come with fortune.
Do you really think you can just put it in the safe behind a painting, lock it up and...
The death of your father has served to poke a stick in a hornet's nest.
Yes, the House of Guinness. This absolutely is what Netflix is all about. This is an absolutely brilliant drama. There's no expense spared with this, particularly the Guinness Brewery, which is an incredible... I suppose they put it together as a set, but it's an absolutely amazing set. And this is set in the 1800s, so all the costumes, everything that goes with it is there's no expense spared. And essentially, this Guinness Brewery of St James's Gate in Dublin is the heartbeat of this drama. This is exactly where it centres, and you start the drama when the owner, the person that set it up, so Benjamin Guinness Senior, the guy that can be credited for the success of that brewery, which is sort of we all know it, don't we, even now, dies, and you see the reading of the will. And what I like about this so much is, yes, the situation is amazing, yes, the script is amazing, yes, the acting's amazing. Like there's not, in my opinion, there's not a lot wrong with this. But what I really liked, and what you don't always get in sort of period dramas like this, is things that you can absolutely relate to in modern day. And of course, in this, you absolutely can, because this is about the carving up of a will where there are 4 children and only 2 of them are left everything. And how that pans out, because of course there's bitterness, there's upset, there's reason. I'm sure that he saw good reason to do this, but then you see the huge fallout. And this is a company that employed an awful lot of local people, so as soon as they saw weakness, there was there was fighting back at this family. There's also a situation where one of the sons, he's gay, he gets followed by the police, and then you see someone being beaten up, because of course at this time it wasn't legal, and so that's really upsetting as well. So there are although this tells a story that's very brilliant and you'll learn lots from it, at the same time I really love the fact that it relates absolutely to modern day life. And of course this is happening all the time, where families are read wills, contest wills, some children, it's kind of, in my mind, I find it really hard to imagine ever loving one child more than another child, or wanting one child to have more than the other. You're brought up as equals. And so this really resonates. So I think it's, really, really enjoyed what I've seen. What did you think, Ian?
How good is Stephen Knight?
So good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's best known for Peaky Blinders, but he's done lots of other stuff, including This Town, about the ska band. Yeah, this has got a lot of the sort of great elements from Peaky Blinders. So, yeah, it's kind of, there's an industrial backdrop, if you like, in terms of the brewery. The music is great. As with Peaky Blinders, they use some modern music from people like Kneecap, which works incredibly well. Great cast. So we've got Anthony Boyle is playing Arthur Guinness, probably the most famous, I guess. Louis Partridge from Enola Holmes plays Edwards. Oh, you've got James Norton, yes, as Sean Rafferty. And you've also got Dervla Kirwan. So, yeah, you've also got kind of Irish republicanism is part of the backdrop, because the Fenians, so-called Fenians, look at Guinness, the Guinness family, as people who've kind of cozied up to the Brits, really. So yeah, there's a succession-style family drama. You've got interesting historical backdrop. It all looks amazing, and you've got James Norton striding around with a top hat on, with kind of, and all these great shots of the brewing process. It's just, if Stephen Knight is behind it, it's going to be quality, and it absolutely is. We move across to Apple TV Plus for another new drama series called The Savant, and here's a clip.
What are you doing there all day? All night sometimes.
I track people who are planning attacks. My job is pretending to think like them, to stop those people from doing really bad things.
FBI, on your knees!
That's why we call her the Savant.
So, being Apple, of course, you get 2 episodes up front, and then they drop weekly. Okay, and so this stars Oscar winner Jessica Chastain, and she plays Jodie Goodwin, who is a Cincinnati mum. Her husband Charlie is an army medic. They've got 2 kids, but little do they know that the mum's job that she does in her kind of home office in the backyard is tracking and interacting with people online who may pose some kind of terror threat. Okay, so kind of going into these far-right chat rooms, using an alias. Yeah, so it's a very interesting subject. I don't know why I didn't particularly get drawn in. I think I was a bit more interested in the domestic drama. So, I mean, she's obviously quite tightly wound because all of this stuff is going on. And then she's watching one of her kids playing a football match, and the kid gets fouled, and she just really loses it with the kid who did it. But yeah, I mean, Chastain, she's just quality, isn't she? She won an Oscar for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And yeah, her online avatar is called Fleshy MF. Make of that what you will. So yeah, it's I think it's hugely topical. You know, the time is right for stuff like this. And she's great in the lead. So yeah, I thought it was well done. What did you think, Hannah? Did this sort of ring alarm bells in terms of like online stuff and social media and so on?
Yeah, it really did, actually. The whole online thing is so scary as a parent of teens, actually children, I should say children, because we see children being pushed around in buggies with phones in their hands. They're, as I described, one click away from hell at any one time, particularly if you're on something, where they have videos suggested videos, because you look at one thing and 2 clicks and you're into something else. And this is the problem. And also children who aren't mature enough to understand what a friend is, or someone, it might not be who they say they are, because of course they're innocent, they're naive at that age, and their brain's not mature enough to be able to deal with it. So it absolutely did. But also it really touches on extremism and that sort of scary part of society that we don't subscribe to, which is, I see myself as very sort of central in everything that I approach, because I like that sort of that debate, that conversation, and being able to understand different people's views. That kind of extremist level is scary too, isn't it? And in a society that we live in now, probably we're even more aware of it. So again, I think this really resonates.
Well, yes, Hannah, we were hoping to preview the ITV series The Hack, all about the news of the world phone hacking scandal, and starring Toby Jones and David Tennant, but alas, we didn't get any screeners, did we? We're going to move over to Now TV for our next offering, which is called Romesh Can't Knock the Hustle. And here's a clip.
Romesh Ranganathan crafted his hustle tour to encapsulate the human experience. But he fact-checked none of it.
How you doing, Romesh? I'm not going to lie, feels unusual.
Romesh will now travel the world.
Oh my God!
Doing the research he should have done a lot earlier.
This is like an anxiety dream.
Hey! This is Can't Knock the Hustle.
Yes, so this is a 4-part series. You know what? Romesh Ranganathan has really grown on me over the years. I remember him starting in years gone by and me thinking, gosh, I'm not sure about this guy at all. But somehow he's just sort of become part of our everyday, and he's become one of those comedians that's so kind of mainstream, and doing programs like this really epitomizes that, doesn't it? So this is all based on his... I don't know if you remember, I didn't actually see him, but he went to the O2 and he did a stand-up special called Hustle, and it was all about him exploring his theories on life and work and self-improvement, and this is him going and trying to put that all to the test, I suppose, and this is intriguing. I've talked a lot about how this kind of resonates. This is intriguing because this is all about really, as a society, how obsessed we are with working. They often say in Britain we've got it wrong, don't we? We're working to be able to... Is it working to live rather than living to work? We don't get it right here. We're just so we're so busy. We grade ourselves on our successes and how well we do, and I think that's deep rooted from the sort of the minute we're born, really, isn't it? And our education and what have you. So this really kind of questions absolutely all of that. So you see him journeying across India, South Korea, Canada, America. One of the ones I think that struck him the most and struck me was he meets this monk in India, and the monk gets him to burn his trainers. Now, anyone that knows Romesh knows he loves his trainers. He has lots of trainers, and he burns them, and it's part of an exercise to try and detach himself from material things. And I often think this. We went to Sri Lanka last year, and it made me realise how little we all need and yet how much we all have. And I think that's what's really interesting about this, because, of course, Romesh brings the fun side to this. He brings the fun side to quite quite a serious topic, isn't it? Are we all working too hard? You know, are we trying to self-improve and improve and improve and improve? What is success? Is that actually happiness? So I think I don't know, I thought this worked really well because, as you say, loads of travelogues at the moment, but this one's slightly different. I think it makes you question everything.
Well, we've got to that time, Hannah, where we find out what the hell you've been binge watching this week.
Well, of course. Strictly, it was the opening night. And of course I was watching that. Doesn't this tell you we're in the run down, whichever way you want to look, to Christmas now. The nights are drawing in. I'm getting up in the dark. Strictly is upon us to bring the glitter to a Saturday night.
And I watched something altogether less uplifting on ITVX. It's a superb documentary all about the VIP lane PPE contracts that were awarded by the government during lockdown, and it will make you very angry. Well, we've just got time to look ahead to next week's offerings, so what is on the Binge Watch menu, Hannah?
Alan Partridge is back. Oh yes, he's back. Scott Walnuts is back on the beeb and he's tackling Britain's mental health.
And Matthew McConaughey gets on board the Lost Bus in a new fact-based drama on Apple TV+. So we look forward to those and much, much more. But in the meantime, dear listeners,
keep watching.
After the recording of this podcast, Apple TV announced that it is postponing the release of the Savant. And as soon as we hear more, we'll let you know.